Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I spent the last 6 years in 3D and have grown my business from complete beginner to earning $225,000 so far this year. So today I want to break down my streams of income for you and show you what that actually looked like. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brandon and I started my company called Lunchbox 3D about 6 years ago during the COVID lockdown. And at that time, I was transitioning from being a full-time filmmaker to the world of 3D. And in the last 6 years now, it's been a completely wild journey that has absolutely changed my life. So I want to share with you the 7 biggest lessons I learned along the way, the things that actually moved the needle for me, so you can avoid a lot of the trial and error that I went through. To preface this video is not to flex, but rather to give you an inside look of my life and my business and of what it looks like to be a 3D artist and really like the business side of everything. It took me many years to get to this point. I started out from making no money for years and worked my way up slowly. So to give you an overview of my journey, I want to take you back to the very beginning. For years 1 and 2, I actually just spent that time taking courses and learning and experimenting pretty much everything with 3D. I was having fun with it, and in that time, I earned a whopping $0. But that's okay because that was a time where I felt like I just was trying to learn everything about the craft, get better at it. I also just didn't feel like at that time I was prepared to take on any clients or really offer any sort of value to anyone, enough to even feel like I could charge them. So that brings us to year 3. And year 3 was actually the first time I started to see any sort of income from 3D. So year 3, I earned about $75,000 of total income from 3D projects. I'd attribute this to posting my work online. This is when I made my first viral video, and that was this Apple commercial. The fact that it went viral was crazy for me because I didn't know if my work was good or not at this time. And so I decided to see if I could make another one after that. And I made this Ford commercial and that went viral. These were just spec ads that I made. And this was the first time that gave me hope that maybe I could actually make a career out of this. And that was the first time for me. I had clients coming to me and wanting to do work. This was the point where I decided to put my filmmaking career in the past and really just focus solely on building my 3D company. And during year 3, I was mostly doing projects that were jewelry focused and sports focused. And the lowest price project I did that year was about $2,000, and the highest ended up being $40,000. And that takes us now to year 4. So year 4, I ended up making $80,000. So this year, I would attribute the slight bump in success to me making a Spec Rolls-Royce commercial. And by me making this commercial, a large automotive company reached out to me and they wanted me to make videos for them that year. And this was really the turning point in my career because it basically landed me the biggest client of my entire life. And suddenly there was also this snowball effect where even celebrities were now reaching out to me to make videos for them. And it was really this moment damn, my work is reaching people this far. And during this time I was still making the jewelry projects, I was doing music now, and I was also doing automotive projects. And the lowest project that I did this year was about $2,000. And then the highest project was about $40,000. So the project cost ended up being about the same, but I think my volume this year was just slightly more. And that takes us to year 5, which was last year. And in year 5, my income had jumped significantly. This year, I earned $176,000. Keep in mind, this is gross income. I had also paid other artists. There's business expenses. There's a lot of other things that cost. So this is a high number, of course. So let's start with the actual breakdown of last year. So one pool of money came from freelance work, meaning projects I was helping other artists or companies on, and that was $48,000. So the freelance projects are great because there are no strings attached. It's not your project. There's no risk. You just sign up, you get paid, and you leave. Compared to when I'm running the project, it's a lot more lucrative, but there's a lot more risk involved, and you have to hire other people and handle other payments like that. So the bulk of the money really came from my client work, meaning the clients came to me and we worked on a per project basis. And that was $128,000. So this year, the average project cost ranged from $8,000, the lowest project, up to $40,000. So what was the jump during this time? Well, there was a lot more volume for sure. I was getting a lot more clients coming to me. I was taking on bigger projects. My work was doing very well on social media. And I was also able to start hiring a team and delegating tasks to other people. But I would also say that this is the first year that I started doing freelance work for other companies, not just my own. I was working for studios or other artists that needed help on their projects. And also, I would attribute this year, this is the first year I completely transitioned to Unreal Engine, meaning I was able to work just so much faster and handle a lot more work. And finally, we are at year 6, which is this year. And so far this year, I've earned $225,000. Just to be clear, this is gross income for my business before things like taxes, software, insurance, and paying other artists. I'd attribute the bump this year to really locking in to the business side of 3D and pricing my projects more confidently. This year, I've had a few really solid clients who've become repeat customers, and I focus heavily on just nurturing those relationships. So my lowest price project this year was around $34,000, and my highest was about $91,000. I actually did less freelance projects for other companies and studios this year, and really just focused on building my own business. For freelance projects this year, my total income was $19,000, and for the direct client work, it was $206,000. So I know this might not sound like an insane amount of money to some people or compared to other industries, but for me, it was really cool because I started this from zero, and just basically posting my work online has led to this. So it's just something I'm genuinely so grateful for and just super proud of. So during this time, I've learned a lot of lessons, and I'm just gonna rapid fire through probably like the 7 biggest lessons I've learned over the last 6 years. The first one is, if you wanna make a lot of money in 3D, you have to bring in the clients. Like, you have to run your own business, because when you work for someone else, you're not controlling the budgets. They're telling you about how much you can earn or how much they have to offer you, because they have budgets and overhead costs that they need to factor in. Now that I'm on the business side of it, I really understand the mentality of hiring other people. The second lesson I learned is spec work is a cheat code. So the way I got all my clients was that I just did spec work. Like, you have to show that you can do it. People are never going to hire you for something that you've never done before. So that was my mentality going into it, is that like, I need to prove that I can do this. So once we make our spec project, we really need to just market it and put it out on social media and try to make it go viral, try to make it get attention, put it on LinkedIn, just really like put it where other brands might see your work. And also, if we want to get paid for this work, if we want to bring in the clients, we really have to let brands see themselves in our work. Like, we can't just make projects that are for us. Like, we have to make something that they are going to find value in. Brands want to work with someone that's able to just stop the scroll, someone that's able to just capture someone's attention and incorporate a brand into their video. Lesson 3 is niches get the riches. Niches make it easier to stand out as well. Like, for me, I just leaned into automotive specifically, and I felt like when I brought someone to my page, it was just straight up automotive, and they knew exactly what I did. So there's no question on like if I did anything else or what my specialty is. Brands just knew what I was good at. And when we pick our niche, we just have to get really good at it. I also found that like a software can be a niche too. Like, for me, I learned Unreal Engine, and I got so much more jobs learning Unreal because it was like the new future tech. People wanted to learn real-time rendering. They wanted to deliver projects fast. Like, a lot of people were really looking for someone that knew Unreal Engine specifically. Lesson 4 I learned is skill stacking. So these days, everyone is becoming so good at so many different softwares, at wearing so many different hats, and we have to be better than other people at what we do, just because it's very competitive. Compare that, like, if you have one skill, say you know modeling, compare that to trying to get a job over someone who knows modeling and texturing and lighting and does cinematics and can handle a project from A to Z. That person is a lot more likely to be hired. You want to be the go-to guy. You want to be someone's rock in their storm. You want to have the solutions to all their problems. So the biggest skill stack I'd say I've developed is learning how to run an entire project on my own, taking it from ideas and concepts to finding the models, texturing, to the cinematics, rendering, editing, sound effects, and delivering it. And I'm not saying that you need to do it on your own or that you shouldn't work with anyone else. I'm saying that when I first started out, I didn't really have money to pay anyone else or be able to offer sort of jobs to people. So I just had to learn it all on my own, and I could prove that I could do it, which taught me a lot of skills and allowed me to take on projects and really not depend on anyone else if the time came down to it. So because I was able to take on an entire project on my own, it taught me everything I needed to run a business as well. Lesson 5 is to build strong relationships. This one is really simple. We just have to do good work and we have to communicate and just be genuine people. Because I feel like when we do good work, it's really easy for other people to recommend us to other people. People like us and they want to come back to us. I'd say communication is the biggest part of this. Over communicate in the emails, just always update people, your clients, where the project is at, what you're up to. And if you're running your own team, for me, it's just been very great to over communicate. Lesson 6 is to learn the business side. If you're like me, when I started, I didn't care about the business side. I didn't care about saving. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to make awesome 3D videos. I just wanted to make things that inspired me. I actually just had to learn the hard way for years. And I realized like I needed to force myself to learn the business side if I wanted to keep doing this sustainably. So, what I mean by learning the business side is using contracts always, defining the scope before you even start, making sure to get paid up front with a deposit, be okay with saying no more often, and lastly, think like a business and not a freelancer. When we implement these things, it not only makes us look more professional and allows us to charge more, but it also protects us and our time and ultimately our sanity. Lesson 7 is to delegate tasks. When I first started, I thought that I should be able to do everything. I wanted to do everything. I kind of wanted to have the entire project in my control. But the problem with trying to do everything on our own is that it really just eats up all of our time. Like we can only do one project or two most. For me, that's what the case was. And I really realized that I'm not able to scale my business. I'm not able to just do multiple projects at the same time. So delegating tasks, it allows us to be faster and it also allows us to bring in people that are just better than us, that they can do it faster, and it just makes our projects look so much better, which makes the clients happy and ultimately leads to more business. If you're going to delegate any task, I would say to hire a producer. A producer is going to be the person that will do all the things that we don't like to do. I mean, for me, I just hate doing scheduling. I hate doing budgets. I'm not good at them. So I like to leave that in the hands of someone else that's way more experienced than me. Now, while this video is all about transparency and what I make, if you're curious how to get to 6 figures yourself, I break down my step-by-step process and give you the exact roadmap in this video here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.